As I look to the horizon, not a cloud, but then storming weather's go too cold. Seems like it crept up out of nowhere, all around you is not what you foretold. You never see it coming. You see that my mind is too fast for eyes. You're done, but the time is hit you, you're not surprised.
Allow me to demonstrate the skill of Shaolin, the special technique of shadow boxing.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening. This is DSP News, the unreliable ones. Ladies and gentlemen, we're here with Snort, Burnell, Dspgaming. He is tired of being compared to Ninja. Now, if you guys have been keeping up with what's going on with that whole situation, keep in mind it's one-sided like most Phil situations. Phil is still being hounded to go to Fortnite, and for a lot of reasons, to be perfectly honest with you. One, PUBG is kind of losing its luster a little bit. It's not being updated quick enough. You have to pay to play it, you know what I mean? Which is kind of like starting to become an old cliche as it pertaining to games. Fortnite is brand new. It's free to play, sorry. It's fresh. It offers you a different type of experience. Whether you consider it a little bit too cartoony, too much for kids, whatever the situation may be, it is something new, it is something fresh. And a lot like YouTube content and creators, you want something you want a little bit of variety. And is it true that people will tend to jump to stuff that's popular? Sure. You know, everybody has that tendency to some degree, but I don't think it's fair to blanket statement and say everybody's like that. But that's neither here nor there. I kind of went off the rails there for a minute. So as you guys know, Ninja is kind of the talk of the town, and he's been a popular Twitch streamer for a long time. But his recent collaboration with Drake, as well as a few other high-profile celebrities, has really pushed him to the forefront. Obviously, he's not the face of Twitch. Dr. Disrespect holds that throne, somewhere that Phil will never actually get to see. But Phil has not picking up the advice that's been dropped down to him that, hey, he needs to switch up. He constantly says he doesn't like the game. He constantly says it's kiddie. He doesn't understand the point of it, yada, yada, yada. I think he's intimidated by it because the building aspect scares him. He's afraid that it's going to show, it's going to end up showing some of his inferiorities and his overall inferiority as it pertains to games. The building concept is, I think, bothers Phil, and the gunplay he's just not going to be able to keep up. Look at him on PUBG. He's barely able to do that shit. As people start to stray from him, as people start to hit angles on Phil, he can't adapt. And that's just Phil for you. Well, with that being said, let's get into the video. Let's see what Phil has to say about the particular subject, and we'll move on from there. Should be entertaining, I think. What else do I want to talk to you guys about really quickly? As you guys know, the news was shelved for only about a week, to be honest with you. My apologies, just a lot of stuff kind of going on. But, we're good now. We back in business and whatnot. It is what it is. So the whole squad's in here. So we should be straight. But my apologies on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess, I don't know. Life comes at you fast. So there wasn't really any time to put out a warning on it. It was only supposed to be a couple days. I didn't think it was going to turn into like a week. So my apologies on that. But ladies and gentlemen, enough of the excuses because you're not here for that. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News. Always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG network in production. You guys all know the slogan. It's time to watch me work.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
I'm assuming it's going to be like $5,000. I don't have that.
Wow.
Then I'm assuming it's going to be at least a couple $1,000 extra taxes for 2017 federal. That I pretty much have. That I can afford. But then, whatever this new estimated tax payment for 2018 is going to be, I don't know what it's going to be because it's overlaid on the new tax code that the Republicans passed back in January.
You want to play the fucking game?
So I don't know, it could be big, it could be small, I don't know what it's going to be. But it's going to be based on my increased income from last year, so it's going to be more than likely than what I paid last year. But the problem is it's all due at once. All this is due in April. Oh, by the way, one thing I haven't even brought up yet is that I have a new accountant here in the state of Washington who I have to pay to file all these taxes properly, and he's probably going to charge me $1,000. So, you see my problem here? Yes! Bill's a scammer.
It's hilarious to me. There's one thing I do want to address here before we do shoutouts.
Stop being a drama queen.
Because I just got to say that the mentality of some people on the internet who are just so ignorant, all right? There are people right now on the internet who write about me or saying, Phil...
All Phil ever does is talk about money. Their money, give their money. Let the green roll in. You feed me more. Feed me, Seymour. Feed me.
Well, given the tax situation we just heard about, yeah, it seems like all he talks about is money. So it's not wrong. It's certainly not out of his character. Phil is driven by money. In a lot of ways, how Wings of Redemption is driven by money. In a lot of ways, on how Rich from Reviewtechusa in some ways, is especially if you've been hearing Rich rant on Twitter lately, is driven by money. It is what it is. I think Wings is a bit more transparent out of the three, in the fact that he has a particular goal that he wants to go for, and there you go. Problem is well, Wings has lied. Wings has lied quite a bit, so it kind of makes it hard to trust Wings in some degree. Similar to Phil. The thing is about Phil is he's trying to get money. He wants to get as much money out of you as possible and then try to maintain it every month. Essentially, he's trying to establish the habit of he's trying to establish the habit of you guys giving him money and making it part of your routine. That's why he keeps drilling his problems into you over and over and over and over again. So you know nothing else but that. It's a rather despicable practice, to say the very least. But then again, you can't necessarily blame just Phil. You have to blame the people that enabled him to do it. You know what I mean? You have to look at the victims also, if you want to call them that. The pig roach cult or whatever the situation is. Because they allowed this to happen. They allowed themselves to be victimized. So, at least in my time reporting DSP shenanigans and shit, you got to come to that realization that not everybody in his fan base has asked for this, but certainly people in his cult have, or inner circle, or his hardcore fan base, however you want to word it.
I still need your help. We need more money. We need more money. That's what this stream is about.
Yep.
I really need your support right now, folks. By the way, I really desperately need the money to help with my tax situation. So, hint, hint, save the house. I really need the money to keep this house. I need that money. I really do. I need that money to pay my bills.
Sure do.
I need to raise a lot of money this month. I need your help. I'm going to need your guys' help. I really am. I'm going to need your support. I need it. Oh my God. It's terrible.
Right? This is what they say. Now keep in mind, right now, this pre-stream segment is the only time during today's stream that I'll talk about money. After this, I'm done. I'm going to be playing games, giving shout-outs, to people during...
Wait a second. I'm pretty sure he brings up his financial situation during his pre-streams. And he does 2 pre-streams a day. So, yeah. And then he kind of reinforces that throughout his streams, too. Not throughout the whole streams, of course, but, especially when people start asking him about his situation, or he has a way that he can segue into that situation, he'll bring it up. So, yeah, that's a bit dishonest, Phil.
In the stream, doing co-op, that's it. I don't constantly stop and have ads in between shit.
I know you're lying.
I don't have a million ad breaks during my streams.
Actually, he should, to be honest, because for the hardcore fan base that's there, I mean, have them click a couple ads for you. You've done it before. So it is what it is, and Twitch is kind of driven by that. So it is ad based. So there's no reason why he isn't running a couple ads an hour. If you look at his YouTube videos, for example, in a 20-minute video, he might have like 5 ads up there. It's a lot of ads, especially for only like 20 plus minutes and whatnot. Now keep in mind, 5 is probably over exaggerating. It might have actually only been like 3. Might have been 4. We'll say 4. But I'm sure there is a couple of videos out there at the 20-minute mark that have 5 ads in it. So it is what it is. But he really should do that. He should try to push the ad situation on Twitch as hard as he can without, of course, flopping over. Just some advice.
I don't advertise. It's one segment.
By the way, disclaimer, GTG Network and Productions does not condone fraud. Click responsibly.
And that's it. It's done. But there are people out there who just talk shit constantly. Oh, all Phil ever does is talk about money. That's it. Well, wrong.
It's not about the money. It's not. I'm not here to take a paycheck. Wow.
And it's hilarious because then they'll learn. Did you see this guy Ninja, the most popular streamer on Twitch, who makes $500,000 a month playing Fortnite? He just got interviewed by a business station, and he was amazing. He talked about how he doesn't think about money. Instead, he just plays the games he loves. And then he made $1 million bajillion, and he donated $100,000 to charity, and he saves an animal a week, and he does all this. If Phil was more like Ninja, then maybe he'd have more popularity. But instead, he just sits on stream and talks about money all.
All right, first off, Phil is already far too late as it pertains to his public image. You know what I mean? Phil could win the lottery tomorrow. He can win the lottery tomorrow and donate $10 million. And he could take $10 million and then split that up amongst cancer research, whatever you want to. You know what I mean? Trying to find a cure for AIDS, whatever charity foundations you can think of. And it wouldn't change his image to anybody. Because at the end of the day, Phil does nothing for other people without there being an angle to him, without there being some type of end game, without there being some type of payoff. It's who he is and whatnot. Phil does not do anything for anybody without expecting something in return. It's just how he operates. It's how he's wired. So as it pertains to Phil's, and to be honest with you, if he did win the lottery, he wouldn't do that anyway. He just doesn't have it in him. He would sit there and feed you guys the same bullshit that he has been for years about, oh yeah, I donate behind the scenes, but I don't tell anybody this, that, and the third. How are you going to do that when you've been broke for years, essentially? So how does that happen? How does that work? Where was the charity at for your friends when they were sitting there helping you produce content you were getting paid for and you couldn't even shell out a couple bucks? You know what I mean? Not without getting your arm damn near twisted. No. He can't. No, he wouldn't. Not even he can't. He wouldn't. Okay? His public image is garbage. For the most part, Ninja hasn't had, at least from what I've seen, I haven't done a lot of research because he hasn't become a point of conversation yet as it pertains to him and Phil, because Phil doesn't exist in his world. So Ninja doesn't have any reason to address him. But Phil could never live up to what Ninja's done or what he's doing. Ninja is an example of someone who's done everything right. When he was streaming, when he was playing games at a pro level, he still had a job and he was still going to school. He made it all work. Him on, I think it was on CNBC the other night. I actually have the video clip for that. I've got it downloaded somewhere. When he was talking about this, and he was basically like, hey, and I know this because I've watched Ninja streams. He's never advocated for people to become pro gamers and give up school, give up your education, give up other things that are important to you. This is a volatile market. You know what I mean? It was volatile when he got into it. He knew that. So that's why he kept his job. That's why he kept his grind on school. What happened is he put in the hard work and he kept this as a hobby, which he still does now, despite the fact how well it pays. And he kept it moving. It's why he's not bitter. It's why he's not broke, unlike Phil. Now, did Phil ever make the type of money he made? Ninja's making now? No, not even close. But he certainly didn't do it in a short period of time. At the same time, though, Phil would have lost his damn mind if that was the case. You can tell that Ninja has a solid background. You can tell he has a solid upbringing. Now, that's just my opinion, of course. If anybody has any deep, dark secrets on Ninja, let me know. But that's just from what I've observed. He doesn't have the type of hang-ups that Phil does. You can watch a couple of streams and see it for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Am I saying that I know him as a, down-to-earth Christian person? I don't know shit about shit and whatnot. But I do know that people who are avid fans of his, who happen to be friends of mine or people I've been talking to on Twitter, they only speak his praises. And there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. And even the people on Twitch that hate on him still sit there and say that they got love for him. And he's still one of the nicest guys they've met. So there you go.
Day.
Oh, you're gonna get salt. It's even now, get my mouth overpowered with salt flavor.
And that's why he's not popular. It's like, now wait a minute. Let's be real here.
Goddamn, we struck a nerve there, didn't we?
Alright? Let's be fucking real. Alright? First of all, I'm not shit-talking Ninja whatsoever. I don't know anything about the guy. I've never seen a stream of his. I'm not going to say anything negative about the guy because that would be completely irresponsible and unfair. I mean, to talk shit about someone you don't know and know nothing about, alright? Trust me.
Listen, I know that that's a little bit hypocritical.
I've changed a lot. I'm not going to sit here and insult someone I know nothing about like I might have done years and years ago. That's not me anymore.
And why does he do that? Like, first off, he's completely castrated himself because now he's scared of talking about anybody because he's afraid of what's going to come back to him. Whatever. So much for being the realest guy on YouTube. And then he gets into this spiel about, oh, I used to talk about people years and years and years ago. I mean, what? Do you have like a very short memory, Phil? I'm talking about, we're in March currently. You were talking shit about people in January. You know what I mean? So this whole years and years and years and years ago thing, you need to stop that. You talk shit about plenty of people in 2017. Goddamn, you were taking shots at PewDiePie like you were passing out, like Panda was passing out hotcakes. You were doing that on the regular in 2017, as well as a few other people, Rich included. And there's sound bites of that out there from Reviewtechusa. So I don't know really what you're talking about as it pertains to any of that, and you don't know them. You don't know Rich, and you don't know PewDiePie. I don't give a fuck if you say that PewDiePie got his start from you, or he was inspired by you, or whatever the case may be, but you don't know him. So let's make sure we get that into perspective.
Alright? But what I will say is this. Look at Phil, right? Darkside Phil, from the years of 2010, late 2010, until I'd say 2013 or whatever. Okay? When I was making ridiculous amounts of money on YouTube, when YouTube ad revenues were sky high, okay? When everything was good, I didn't have debt. I had no financial issues at all. YouTube ad revenue had not plummeted yet. They didn't change their algorithms to screw me over and make it.
And you didn't save a dime of it. So from 2010 to 2013, that's what he said, right? So we're talking about 4 good years and whatnot. Yeah, we're talking about 4 good years where everything was gravy. And he didn't plan for that. He didn't put any money aside. He looked at all those big ass paychecks and he was like, yeah, I earned this. And didn't think for a second that, you know what? Outside of paying for my obligations and whatnot, whatever his monthly expenses are, and he said he had no credit card debt, I should put a large chunk of this away every time I get paid. Just in case something happens. You know what I mean? Just so if I ever want to go on vacation, I can go. If I ever want to leave the country and go and visit his roots, Poland, he can do that. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I was completely unprofessional. You know what I mean? Like, just putting that money away just in case shit happens, in case stuff falls apart, which will inevitably happen to anybody. Maybe he should invest some money into something. If not himself, then something down the line. And he did none of these things. So now he talks about, oh, I had a great career, I had this, that, and the third, but he has nothing to show for it. He has 2 houses that he's still paying on, even though I was talking to somebody. I was talking to Bart, actually. Shouts out to Bart. And we were going kind of, it was brief, but we were kind of going through the whole situation with the condo. In theory, that condo might be paid off. It might be paid off. And one of the reasons, and hopefully at the end in this video, if Bart gets a chance to see it, he can give you a better explanation of his part of it, which is, I agree with him 100%. But not just that. If you guys remember back, it was in an old SOK video where for some reason the bank that owned Phil's condo ended up taking the condo back because he was behind on payments or whatever. And they tried to put it up on the market. And one of the members of SOK saw this and was actually able to produce, pictures of it and so on and so forth. And then a few weeks later, it was gone. It was taken off the market. And they had come to the conclusion that the only way that could have happened is if Phil sent an extremely large amount of money to the bank to in turn give it, to essentially take it off the market and give it back to him. With that being said, I think they said it would have had to been somewhere between $10,000 and possibly $15,000 that Phil would have shelled out to make this happen. Because one of the members of SOK, probably multiple members, but one of the members of SOK had a friend in real estate or something along those lines, and they were actually able to get in contact with the realtor who was handling Phil's property over there. So it makes me, and the fact that Phil doesn't ever bring up the condo, or he doesn't do it as frequently as he used to, it makes me wonder if the condo's paid off and he's just having a really hard time trying to sell it. Or he's selling it for such a high price point that he doesn't have anybody interested in buying it yet. Just my thoughts on it. And one of the things that kind of locks that in is, if you guys remember last year, 2017, he was talking about how much money he owed on the water bill. I guess it was like the water bill over there. I think he said he owed like $400 or whatever the case may be. Why would you owe money on a water bill at a residence that that no one's using? So the water should be shut off, right? And whatnot. So why are you paying this outstanding water bill for, or whatever the case may be, at a residence that no one's using? Because his aunt, who was living there for a little while until she was slipping and falling, and they ended up moving her into a home, she hadn't been there in years. See what I'm saying? So just something to think about if any of you guys want to, if any of you guys remember that kind of chain of events, whether about Phil talking about his aunt slipping and falling, and if you guys actually know exactly what year that was, I'd very much appreciate it. Or for any of you who remember that episode of SOK when they were talking about the situation with Phil's condo. So there you go. Not necessarily homework, but just something to kind of get the noggin jogging, as Medicare would say. DSP News.
My videos don't show up in YouTube search. I had gotten a plethora of false copyright strikes against me, seriously declining my income. None of this negative stuff had happened to me at all. Alright? None. So, of course, back then, if you look back at that Phil, alright, guess how different? That Phil never had to talk about, oh, pledge to my Patreon, buy something from my Teespring, send me tips. That Phil literally just sat here every day, played a game, recorded what he did, and uploaded it to YouTube, period. That was it.
You fell for it. Congrats, you fell for the marketing scheme. I don't have a marketing scheme. I never have. I just play games. I'm here to play games and have fun. I'm not here to be a whore. Alright? I'm not here to beg.
Wait a second. He, before Teespring, well, he's had a bunch of little schemes, let's be honest. But what was the name of that merchandise company that he used to be with? They still exist today too. Cafe Press. He used to do that. Remember, he had the shirts, he had the mugs, he had the clock, he had like a binder, or he had a notebook that had graphic art on it. He had all those things, and he used to show that stuff too. So what are you talking about, Phil? What are we talking about?
You for money. even though I will mention maybe on a daily basis that you can subscribe to my Twitch channel, I'm not going to sit here and beg you for fucking money. I'm not going to stop playing a game and have everything come to a grinding halt to say, oh, gee, thanks, Jose Cuervo 527 for subscribing. By the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, you have no clue what the fuck I'm talking about, and you're probably incredibly interrupted by me mentioning it. It's preposterous. Again, think about the kind of person who would stop what they're doing completely and totally ruin their content of whatever they're doing in the moment to just call out to someone who sent them a buck. You know what I mean? Wow, thanks for a $1. You know what? You know what those people should say instead of the stupid sound effects they play on their streams or stopping and saying a phrase? Here's what they should say. Gee, thanks for the money, dummy. Thanks for the money, dummy. That's what they should just play. Because that's basically what they're saying. Gee, thanks for getting your stupid name grab, you moron. Thanks for the dumb money. You know, instead of watching to play the game or for the content that I'm giving you, instead you're doing it to get a stupid shout out. Thanks for the money, dummies.
That was all you ever heard from me was me playing games, right? Now, when I stream, it's different. I have to advertise to make ends meet. Why? Because guess what? Because I'm not 2013 or 2010 or 2012 Phil anymore. YouTube ad revenue did plummet. My channel did get screwed. I did have to diversify and become a Twitch streamer, and I do have to advertise in order to make ends meet.
You would have eventually had to have done all those things anyway, at one time or another. Well, what happened to you, allegedly, was all probably going to happen eventually. YouTube wasn't going to be able to keep doing what it was going to keep doing. You might have had some better safeguards if you stayed with Machinima, but eventually you were going to alienate yourself with them and get kicked off. It was going to happen sooner or later. Don't think it wasn't, because Phil's an idiot. The whole copyright strikes or whatever, I can't speak on that. Eventually someone might have gone after you, maybe not. I don't know. It is what it is on that one. Eventually something was going to happen. Eventually a chain of command, or not a chain of command, but a chain reaction of events was going to eventually happen to him, and was going to put him in a tough spot. Hence the reason why people save their money. Hence the reason why, when everything is plentiful, when everything is at its most profitable, you put something away. And Phil didn't see that. Phil was so arrogant that he really thought it was going to last forever. He thought he was going to be the man. He thought he was going to be the king forever. Unrealistic, absolute sociopathic type ridiculousness. Total autism and whatnot was displayed there. And it's funny how nobody in his fan base ever calls him out for that. No one ever says to Phil, you know what, Phil, I've been following you, because let's go by the typical script of a DSP supporter. Oh, Phil, I've been following you since 2012, man, and you know I really appreciate everything you did. Okay, so you've been following him from the years of 2012, 2013, 2014, so you kind of saw his decline. But you did see him at least at some point in his popularity, because I don't think his downfall really started to happen until 2013. With that being said, was it not visible to you that he obviously had a lot to, you know, like he had obtained a lot, I should say, and none of you actually thought about, hey Phil, man, I don't want to pry too much into your personal business, but are you putting money away for a rainy day? Are you thinking about saving some money? No? None of you guys said any of those things. None of you guys tried to emphasize any of that to them. Now, I will also say, in your own defense, that wasn't necessarily your place. But then the moment that he started asking you guys for money, the moment he started asking you guys, hey, I'm opening a Patreon, did none of you think then that maybe we should, hey Phil, what happened to all the money that you had? Hey Phil, why didn't you put anything away for a rainy day? So it's very easy for some of you in Phil's fan base to sit there and say, oh, why you guys are always talking about his money problems, this, that, and the third. Because they could have been avoided. It's not a matter of him just getting a job. It's a matter of when he was at his highest point, when he had those good years, he didn't plan for it. he never saw the drought that was eventually going to come up. And since he didn't have the success of other YouTubers around that same time period, he of all people should have been looking at, well, I need to plan for this, and I need to work twice as hard, if not 3 times as hard as the people around me. Because Phil has been sitting at 100,000 subscribers for a number of years. Some of the very same people are in the millions now. Phil hangs his hat on the fact that he was able to last this long. He doesn't realize that some of the same people who are coming up around his time are so much bigger than him. They're in the upper echelons of the 100,000s, about to hit the million mark, or they're over a million. It's amazing how Phil never brings that up to you, though. DSP News.
It's all common sense.
Remember that troll? The troll who, when I was playing PUBG, said that he ordered me like a 20-inch cardboard penis, a big cardboard penis. That's insanity. That was delicious.
You know, and it's hilarious because people will say talk shit about me, and they'll say, do you remember the time when Phil said he was going to be doing a giveaway?
And he gave away empty game boxes? What a complete idiot.
And this becomes like the mainstream meme about me, is that Phil's giveaways, unlike other YouTubers and streamers who do these big fun giveaways and charity drives for their fans,
Phil just gives away empty game boxes.
Which is what you did.
This is the God's honest truth.
Oh, but let's all forget the fact that for years, I gave away, every month, I gave away free games. Every single month during the hardcore gaming season, I gave away consoles. I gave away a PlayStation 4 console at launch that I bought with my own money. I gave it away to a viewer, a fan of mine. I gave away a collector's edition of, oh God, what game was it? It was like an $80, $90 collector's edition. I bought it myself and gave it away. I gave away copies of games, back in the day all the time when I could. All right?
For some reason, I don't remember that either. Because Snort Burnell was like, does anybody really remember that? I don't remember that. Did he give away some games? He might have. I don't remember that much of that. I definitely remember all the empty boxes. I remember those fucking lame-ass giveaways, giving away boxes and autographing some of them. And if he couldn't autograph it, he was putting it on business cards. I remember that lame-ass shit. I don't remember all that extra. Not all of it. That doesn't mean it's not true. It just means I don't remember it.
When I've had financially feasible means to do great stuff, I did it. But what people want to do, they want to talk shit.
And act like, oh, Phil's always been a beggar, and Phil's always done negative stuff. And look at Ninja. Ninja makes $500,000 a month playing one fucking video game. I mean, I'll be honest, just like any other normal human, yes, am I jealous of certain people and of people who are successful and whatever? Of course I am. Of course I'm going to have jealousy. That's a natural human emotion for those who have more than you. You're always going to have that natural kind of jealousy of those who maybe have, been more successful or things like that.
Why do you think Ninja can donate $100,000 and can rescue an animal a week and can do all those things? Because he has the means to do it. Stupid.
Why am I toxic? The salty tears. My mouth is full of salt. All I can taste is the saltiness.
Just like I did. When I used to have that money, I did all kinds of amazing things.
That's 100% a lie.
I know.
I had a P.O. box, right? Where people would send me stuff and I would open things live on stream and then I would give back by doing donations and doing,
I don't remember, and I agree with Snort Burnell, where Snort Burnell's like, I don't remember this either. I do remember people sending him stuff and donating, but I don't remember him doing anything in return. And whatnot. I definitely don't remember that. And he doesn't even talk about people sending him stuff. He really just talks about people ordering in pizzas and sending him feces. That's pretty much the extent. Oh my gosh. I don't remember that at all. I really don't. Jesus Christ, Phil. See, and it's stuff like this. When Phil gets emotionally charged up, a Drake reference, but when he gets charged up like that, that's when a lot of these this silliness kind of comes out. And even if it's not a lie, it's probably a half truth. It's not a complete and honest answer. And Phil is really good at that. He's known for it, to be honest with you, which is actually rather sad when you really think about it. it's things like this that just doesn't work out for him. He takes everything to heart, and he doesn't know how to just let shit roll. You know what I'm saying? He's up to his face in shit. Who cares if they cover your head? Seriously. You're damn near breathing garbage and bullshit. Who cares if they decide to top you off over your bald spot? It is what it is. He's not helping himself when he says stuff like this, because people will go back and people will look. I'm going to look, and then leading into my next video or the video after that, if I remember, I'll bring it back up. If not, I'll just save it for another video where I decide to call him out. So when you say stuff like this, Phil, and since you don't erase anything, since you don't delete anything, people like myself will go back and look eventually. Or someone in the comment section or someone on Twitter will remember it and be like, yo, GTG, I got you right here, bro. It is what it is. You know what I mean? Someone will remember this if it really happened. And if it really did happen, I'll correct myself. No problem. But if it didn't happen, well, guess what? You're gonna take, well, like you said about your cardboard penis, you're gonna take the whole 20 inches of it. It is what it is. So look out for that.
Remember I used to do raffles? People would post on my forums and we'd have a raffle and we'd pick a winner and you get a free video game and stuff. I used to do all that stuff, you know? But that's, sadly, you know, back in the day. That's a time that has passed, you know? If I ever get back to that, absolutely I'll do that again.
I don't know. Snort Burnell just kind of, I think Snort Burnell was saying that that Phil might have done that when times were good, but also Snort Burnell could have just been quoting what he said. So I don't know. Like I said, I don't remember a lot of that. I really don't. I don't remember all that extra, to be honest with you. If he did, like I said, am I saying that he never gave a game away? I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that he certainly has given away way more, as Phil would refer to, trash than anything else. And a lot of those collector boxes and all that bullshit, all those empty video game cases, they were garbage to him. He didn't have the game anymore. He already traded that back in and whatnot to put towards the next game. The cases didn't mean anything, so he gave them away. Did he possibly give away a couple of new games in between that? Sure, he might have, and whatnot. But to talk about all these raffles and all this extra shit, until I see proof of it, I'm just going to be like, it probably didn't happen.
I'm good at lying.
You know, I would love to do that positive stuff again. I loved doing it when I could do it. But what people want to do is...
But the thing is you wouldn't do that now even if you had the chance. Remember, you're older now. You got more mature things to worry about. You got grown-up stuff to worry about now. So doing raffles and stuff doesn't exactly fall into your category of stuff to do. It's not just, like I said, we talked about the condo a little bit earlier on, but he still has the house and he still has credit card debt, and he might still have business loans too. So he's not doing any of that ever. He'll spend the rest of his life clawing his way out of debt. End of story. Unless Phil, by God's graces, wins the lottery and wins like $1 million, you know what I mean, off a scratch off or some shit like that. After he pays taxes and everything, he'll walk away with still a pretty good chunk of change. It would probably be enough to clear all of his debt, and it would give him just enough money that he could probably ride out the next... Okay, if you want $1 million scratch off after taxes and then paying off the rest of the well, let's say the condo's already paid off. So he pays off the rest of the house, he clears off all of his credit card debt, and if those 2 business loans still exist, he cleans that out. He theoretically would have enough money that if he lived within his means, he could probably ride that out for the rest of his life, give or take. It's easy to live off $1 million, especially at Phil's age. Well, if he lives within his boundaries, if he puts some of that money in the bank and let it accrue interest and let it work for him. He has to actually work at it, but he could theoretically make it happen on top of his YouTube shit. The only thing that would cut into that, and Phil, this is what it's like to actually think ahead, is Phil's parents are starting to get older. So he's going to have to pay, he would have to pay to have them taken care of and whatnot. And it's obvious that that would probably be the best thing for both groups. Phil can barely take care of himself, let alone taking care of his family. his parents, especially at an old age. So that would cost him a pretty penny, and he would have to pay that for a couple years. I would say if his parents went into a home, they would be there. I don't know. I don't want to ever. You don't ever want to predict when someone meets their demise, so I actually won't answer that question. But I'd say a good number of years he would have to cover. He'd have to flip the bill on that. So there you go. And that's just my personal opinion. And then after they pass, it would, as their son, he would be left with the responsibility of paying off any debt that they had left at the time of their passing. So he has to take care of that too. So if they don't have any money put away, if they don't have, unless Phil sells the family house or something along those lines, the responsibility of that would kind of fall on him too. I mean, he is their son and only child. It would be expected for him to take care of that. So, just something to think about, Phil, since you watch the tractor videos.
Basically spin whatever they can, again, to be negative about me. So, once a day, I have a segment where I have to advertise. God forbid Phil advertise like every other streamer, right? And then I advertise, oh God, all Phil cares about is money and everything. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's completely untrue. It's just another negative thing people say.
You gotta listen to me, and not listen to the people who spin what I say.
And again, they only want to remember the time that Phil gave away an empty game box. They don't want to remember the console, the collector's edition, the 4 or 5 straight years where I gave away like 10 games a year. They don't want to talk about that. They just want to talk about the negative shit and make me look like a villain. So whatever. You know what I mean? It is what it is. It's stupid, in my opinion.
Yeah, Snort was right. 10 games for someone who's rolling in dough, that's a lot. Hopefully Ninja could follow that example. Snort great.
And obviously, in most people's opinion, who actually know me, and that's why I'm only going to address it this once, it's just because in particular I saw someone post up on my forums the dumbest thread ever.
Yeah, now if Phil didn't always just ask for money constantly, it was more like Ninja, he'd be a better person. And what the fuck are you talking about? With 100% soul.
If I didn't advertise, I wouldn't be here. Right? Last year, if I didn't change from being a YouTuber to a streamer, and I didn't advertise on stream, I would have already lost my house. I would have already lost everything. But these are kids. These are dumb, immature kids who just don't understand how real life works.
That person has 100% has the right to share their opinion. It's called freedom of speech. I'm the kind of person that I may have my own personal beliefs, which I do, but it's okay for you to not be in the same mindset as me. I'm a very open-minded person. I always have been. I'm good at lying.
Not really.
I were, again, still in 2012 to 2013.
And here's the thing, too, that Phil doesn't come to this realization of, even though he knows it's the truth. He keeps talking shit about these dumb kids who don't know what it's like to have responsibilities or whatever. Phil, that's your fan base. I'm just saying. That is your fan base. Why would you talk down to them like that? Seriously. Yes, we know your fan base is full of young kids. We know your fan base has been known, at least a few members of them, of taking mommy and daddy's credit card to charge and making tips and donations off that to help you. You pander to kids, essentially. It is what it is. Am I saying your whole fan base is that? No. Is the majority of your fan base that? Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So you might want to stop throwing jabs at them like that. I'm just saying. Because as people have been saying over the last, I'd say actually all throughout March, to be honest with you, the brainwashing is slowly but surely fading. So you're going to have to switch up a little bit. And you taking these shots at them is not helping you at all. You're already in a very, very sharp decline. You need to try to preserve what you have and cement it so you can rebuild the platform and move upwards if you can. But we'll see. Rumor has it that you're trying to have your fan base do all the work for you and make your streams more entertaining for them. Seems counterintuitive, but all right. So now they've gone from being fans to being hardcore fans to being a cult to being now donators, supporters, slaves. Now they actually are workers. Now they're employees that have to come to your stream and make it entertaining for everybody else that comes in. And they also have to give up money to give people gifted subs so they can inflate your sub count. Why don't they just go ahead and stream themselves and just cut you out? If you're willing to put that much effort in to help somebody else who's not willing to help themselves, then why don't you just do it on your own? I'm just saying.
If YouTube were still the land of milk and honey for ad revenue on videos, I wouldn't ever have to ask you for anything. But those days sadly are gone. Maybe they'll come back someday.
How about instead of all that dumb fucking shit, you actually put on a fucking shirt and tie, you come into work, you sit the fuck down at a desk, and you actually do some goddamn fucking work. I didn't want to do the bare minimum. I didn't want to come in. I wouldn't have felt bad if I came in looking like a fucking slob. I'm good at lying.
We'll see. But we'll find out. We'll see how things go. Right now, things are going really good in regards to streaming. My streaming's been doing really well, and I'm very appreciative of you guys' support. So if we can keep this up by the end of this year with all the new releases and everything, I mean, we may never have to talk about this shit ever again, which would be great. But for now, that's just the reality of it, all right?
Sorry, but that's life. For me, at least, right now. Shout outs!
YOLO Dapper did a 25-inch here.
Thank you. Really, thank you. Shame on me.
He says, Phil, it's actually a very good thing that you diversified with Twitch. Reviewtechusa didn't. And now he cries on Twitter every day. Now, this is obviously subjective, and I'm not saying this, guys. This is someone else.
Look at you. Look at you. Jesus Christ. El Presidor got you shaken up like that? I mean, he should. He's the biblical beast. But look at you. Sitting there backtracking like a bitch. Immediately being like, oh, that has nothing to do with me. That was him. I'm just answering his question. Like that's some type of petty disclaimer or something. Look at you. You used to take shots at Rich every time he took shots at you. You used to talk about, I mean, shit, and I'm not saying Rich took any like malicious shots at him per se. He did do a 2-hour-long live stream though, talking about his tax problem. That was interesting. But it's actually a good listen. You should actually go and listen to it if you haven't heard it. But look at you backing off like a bitch. Not even man enough to go ahead and say it. You're getting ready to comment on Phil. You might as well be a man and stand behind that comment. It is what it is. And yeah, Rich is ranting quite a bit and whatnot. And I don't have too much of a comment to say about that as it pertains to Rich's situation. I don't have too much to say about that. I don't know if it's diversification or... Because, like, I know the last video I watched of Rich, I had to, like... Was it... I don't know if it's, like, some kind of community guideline shit that was attached to it or something. Something silly. And the video was tame. So I don't understand what that problem was. I don't get it. But it is what it is on that. But, I don't know what's going on with Rich in his videos over there. It's really strange. It's really strange. But it is what it is on that. I'm sure he'll work that out eventually. But as for you, Phil, man, we already know you're about to take shots and whatnot, so just be a man and stand behind it. Don't sit there and be like, oh, this isn't me. This is someone here who's trying to start up shit. Shut the fuck up and answer the question. Seriously.
I don't know. I don't follow ReviewTech on Twitter. Please don't go to him and say, Phil said you cry on Twitter. I never said that. All right, well, anyway, this guy says he cries on Twitter every day about his...
Actually, didn't you block Rich off Twitter, Phil? I know you did at one time for sure. You might have unblocked him after he said nice things about you. But I know you blocked Phil you blocked Rich on Twitter before. I'm almost sure of it. That you've done that. Because you're just petty enough to do it. I'll have to go back and look at an old Rich video and I'll see if I can find that.
His videos being demonetized, even though he puts many hours into making them. I'll be honest with you, Yellow Dabber.
I sympathize with Rich. And I 100% agree with Rich.
That's bullshit. And I sympathize with the guy because he does have quite a good following on YouTube. He's got a dedicated fan base. I mean, yes, he's got dedicated haters just like me too. But he puts effort into his stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you could tell. He doesn't just...
Speaking of which, if you guys should check out... Because, you actually should check out some of the Rich Detractor channels, to be honest with you. You really should do that. There is one person in particular. I am sorry, I cannot think of your name right now. It's is it Anna? It's Anna something. If I'll find it and I will actually put that in my description. It'll be one of the. It should be right under the Snort Burnell. I'll put a link to his channel and take a look. He actually has a series on there called. What's it called? Making the Beggar, or Making of a Beggar. It's a 3-part series. It's fabulous. It's absolutely stupendous. It is great. It is ridiculous. I did not know the lore that was behind Rich and how far back it went. So it goes back pretty far. I'll put the link of that in my description, though. You guys can check that out. I'll put the link into the channel in my description. You guys can check that shit out. That was a wild view. Very well done, though. Very, very well done. But that was some interesting stuff, though. I got to be honest with you. I would have never thought that. Because, like, give you guys just one quick example. There was a situation between Rich and Keemstar, and I didn't know what it was about, because I guess as quickly as it started, it kind of fizzled out. And I was like, oh, shit. Well, I thought maybe it was just over some opinion type bullshit. I thought it was just, two people just had an argument about a particular article or some shit like that. Come to find out, it was about Patreon. And then you find out that, like, Rich had, like, 2 or 3 different times he tried to start a Patreon and all kinds of stuff. It was wild. I'll put the link to that channel in my description. You can go through it on your free time. It's an interesting. It was interesting. I got to tell you, there's a lot of stuff I did not know about. Absolutely wild.
Fucking, throw any old thing. He puts time and effort into his edited videos. He puts thought into what he wants to cover. He's got a following for what he does. Do I personally agree with the kind of video he puts out? Not really.
I don't think that daily vloggers who just talk about random news stories and drama and shit, I don't believe in that. I've never done that kind of stuff for YouTube, and I never will. A silver-tongued talker, right? Oh, I'm just going to say it one way.
But wait a second, even though you're not talking about articles, Phil, you talk about random shit, too, that has to do with gaming or on Twitch or on YouTube, which doesn't make too much sense because you don't follow anybody else on YouTube and Twitch, yet you know what everybody's doing, and you know what their problems are. Like that Zombie Go Boom situation, for example. Or what's going on with Angry Joe. It's funny how you know all about those things, yet you don't watch anybody on YouTube. Just saying.
And hopefully you'll believe it, even though it's not the truth. And that's literally what's happening here. The guy's a liar. The guy's a fucking blatant liar and lying to everyone. But people are believing it because they don't know any better.
But that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a following and he doesn't have a right to make money and make a living. He does. And it's messed up that YouTube has fucked him over. But you're absolutely right, Yellow Dopper. I'm actually pretty lucky in the fact that I decided to diversify myself in the way that I have, so that I'm not all eggs in one basket anymore. I was for a long time. It was all eggs in one basket, YouTube or nothing. Then I started Patreon, then I started Teespring, then I diversified and started streaming on Twitch. Now, if any one thing goes wrong, at least there's other things I can jump to. You know what I mean?
Garbage content. A 10-year legacy. It's all about drama and bullshit and toxicity. It's not about putting out quality stuff on YouTube anymore. It's gross. It's for this. It's not because they love what they're doing.
Amazing.
It's not because for the love of the game or because they're true gamers. It's for this. And this is what it's become. It's not about putting out a quality review. It's not about putting out a quality playthrough or quality stream. It's about making this.
It is.
Everything's got to be about making the almighty dollar. Anything for this, right?
Yep.
In fact, I hate the fact that I rely on YouTube income at all, but I still do. Alright, well, we got Sea of Thief, who's obviously a troll, who did a troll cheer. And he says,
God damn, can you hear the salt in his voice? You hear the anger? He must be hungry. That sounds like Wings of Redemption type anger.
Phil, I recall you saying that our tips and subs in 2017 helped you move Cat into your place, and that was part of your push
That's right. He said that several times, actually.
for the holidays. Wrong! You are an idiot.
I'm not a whiny baby. I'm a mature adult. And I'm not a children's entertainer.
That is not what happened at all, and I never said that. You just listened to what the detractors say about me. That's not what I said. What I said was, Cap wants to move in with me, but we certainly cannot do that if I have these tax issues lingering on the home, and for example, if I can't pay these tax...
Okay, so this is Snort Burnell said this. So in other words, the money from the fundraiser served to pay taxes. So he was able to move Cat into the pig pen and thus buy many things: a new cell phone, new cell phone, new clothes, PS4 Pro, traveling costs by plane, moving, all stuff that a lot of us have said. So, yeah, Phil, what are you talking about, bruh? You did say that. Someone find me. God damn it, I'm the only one in the office for the next week and a half. Shit! That's right. I'm okay with doing my own research. Shit. But Phil has said that. That's for sure. So I'm glad that at least, I'm sure most of you guys remember hearing that at one time or another. I'll actually try to look it up though. Shit. God damn, dude. All that research. Fuck.
Taxes in January 2018, there's no reason for her to move in because already we're going to have tax issues and liens and, interest accruing and back fees and everything. And if I can't pay the taxes for the house, why am I going to move her in if by, the first quarter of the year I got to put the house on the market? That's what I said. And what happened was people really rallied in late 2017. They helped me out, and I was able to pay that first tax payment that was due in January, which then initiated the process by which he said, oh, now she can move in because at the very least, we'll have the rest of the year to see what happens with the new taxes.
Then what money did you use to get her over there then? And you were taking periods of time off also. You know what I mean? So where'd you get the money to take those little 4-day vacations and all that bullshit? And you took off a little bit of time when she got there also, if I remember correctly. That's what I'm saying, Phil? Like, you can't sit there and say something is a lie and then in the next couple sentences say everything that would essentially corroborate with the lie. It doesn't work.
That's what happened, and I've explained this a million times publicly, but the small, immature children of the internet just spin it on one way, and ignorant people like you, Sea of Thief, listen to them like morons, instead of actually listening to what I say, and you take what they say as truth when it's not. So that's on you, not on me.
Wow.
Don't be stupid and ignorant.
Wow.
It's that simple.
I guess I'm not that smart.
Not really.
Man, I'm stupid.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, Eternal Napalm did a 50-bit cheer. He says, how do people find the time to create multiple fake accounts just to troll you? Well, they have no lives. The rantings of like a 5-year-old. When you have no life, when you have nothing positive going on for you, you take that time that you have nothing to do with and you spend it doing negative shit instead. So instead of going out and seeking friends or hobbies or significant other, these people prefer to just sit and be miserable at home constantly and do negative shit to people on the internet.
Yeah, what about when you were sitting there trying to orchestrate a video takedown, a channel takedown of everybody, Phil? You remember that? That's the leaks. You remember all about that, don't you, Phil?
Okay. It's pathetic. And it's sad in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it is actually.
That's life for some people, I guess. That's like me. Read, right? That's like me. Read. What pasta do you prefer?
Oh my god, that's great. Something else godlike. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go. Like I said, I will put the link to that Rich from Reviewtechusa channel, that detractor channel. I'll put that in my link in my description box. I'd like you to check it out. I might even put it as my first post because I really want you guys to take a look. It's, like I said, that 3-part series on making, I think it's called Making the Beggar or Making of a Beggar. You have to check it out. You have to do it. Okay. You have to watch it. So I will link the channel in my description. I will also put that in my as the first post, not when this video goes up, as you guys know, because I usually come back and do it later, but it will be there. It will be in my description for sure. Shouts out to Snort Burnell yet again. And to Phil. You need to, one, move on from bitching about Ninja. It is what it is. You know what I mean? It's his time to reign. You know what I'm saying? And you become the old king, if you were a king, and you just sit in your little retirement spot. There you go. As it pertains to that situation with Kat, yet again, you're going to, and I had said this, that people over time are going to start really talking about where the money come from to get her over there when he was in the middle of a financial crisis in a lot of ways. And watch him. He's going to get more and more emotional, and he's going to let it all out over time. It's what he does. As I've said on this channel, consider it a GTG quote. Give him enough time, and he'll hang himself. It's what he's good at. And apparently we have another Snort Burnell video, so I guess we'll knock that one out after this one. Ladies and gentlemen, this is DSP News, always late, never breaking, unreliable coverage that you can't count on. A GTG Network and Productions. I am your host / anchor, GTG, signing off. End the broadcast. Oh. Why did all you guys have to take vacation off at the same damn time? God damn it, I gotta be in the newsroom and do all this shit myself. Fuck. Shit.